Our reporter Gillian Pillay. Gillian, a very good morning to you. Tell us a bit more about the bomb scare and whether or not it has anything to do with delay tactics by Team Krejcir.
A very good morning to you, Ayanda. Yes, we wanted to bring you and the audience a blow-by-blow account of what us as journalists experienced yesterday, shortly after lunch, when we were informed about an imminent alleged bomb threat at this particular precinct. But what you can see happening behind me now, Ayanda, is that members from the K9 unit, a sniffer dog and other officers are now again moving back into the courthouse to comb that very sensitive area. What we were asked to do a little bit earlier this morning, and that's how we couldn't come to you during the 6 o'clock slot, we were asked to vacate the actual courtroom because, as you know now, the area is very sensitive. They're obviously going to go again over the entire area, comb the area, have sniffer dogs go through the entire courthouse to establish if it is safe now for presiding officers, for the accused, for other cases to continue a little while from now. So the area is very sensitive, as I said. Officers are moving through the courthouse, and this is this is just to circumvent against a repeat of whatever sparked off the bomb threat yesterday, Ayanda. But the atmosphere, I can tell you here, is quite uneasy. The officials are taking it very serious, what unfolded yesterday. So, it's difficult to say where the threat came from. It's difficult to say if it was Krejcir. As you know, he hasn't had a cell phone for quite some time. So we are suspecting that it could be any other high-profile case that's taking place here at the High Court, Ayanda. So as you can see behind us, the area is again being swept to just cleanse it and ensure that there's no imminent danger should we continue with proceedings today, Ayanda.
Gillian, it has been such a turbulent legal experience there. Allegations of assassination plots, elaborate escape plans. When do we expect it all to finally wrap up with the sentencing being given out?
What I can tell you is that proceedings have been set on for this week. I don't think anyone envisaged that yesterday, that we would be thrown a curveball like we were thrown yesterday. Yes, quite dramatic. The things that movies are made of. In my lifetime as a journalist, I've never been I've never covered a case where I've heard the kind of detail that's come out of this particular matter, where Krejcir takes this, represents himself and engages in dialogue with the judge, as we saw yesterday, saying to the judge, I know that you live in Bedfordview. The judge retorting and saying to him, how do you know this? I know that you've been talking to your medical doctor about my conviction. And it's those kinds of detail that one doesn't really come across in any high-profile case. And this has been quite an interesting high-profile case. So it's very difficult to say, Ayanda, week we'll see a sentencing. I know Lamont will push for that. I know he's been so frustrated at the stop and starts and the series of delays that we've seen in this particular matter. This group, they've been convicted 24th of August, and that's 6 months ago, and that is not something that you normally have after a conviction, Ayanda. So I'm sure Lamont would push for sentencing this week. Whether or not it will happen, we'll have to see, Ayanda.
Gillian, very, very intriguing indeed there, that exchange between Mr. Krejcir and the judge. It sounds a bit like a threat to me. Gillian, lastly, tell me, how does Mr. Krejcir stand to benefit from delays? One would think that you'd want to get it over and done with. How does he stand to benefit?
Krejcir has several other pending matters. This is not the only This is not the only matter. But what really puts a stick in the ground here is that this will be the first matter where he will be a sentenced person, and that changes the dynamics. It will be the first matter in South Africa where he will be sentenced. Yes, there are other pending matters, and I'm sure the MPA, they're really working hard to get convictions on those matters also. It's difficult to say what does he stand to benefit with delays, because he is so, he's covered and he's constantly surrounded by a very heavy police presence. So yesterday, when we were informed about that imminent threat, and I can't tell you, it was seconds when they whisked him into the convoy, getting him away from this particular precinct. Should anything happened beyond it just being a rumor or an actual threat that just filtered and resonated through this particular courthouse. So it's difficult to say, Ayanda, if he stands to benefit from any delays. Lamont is, it's like two very strong personas up against one another. Yes, it was a very fine balancing act for Lamont with all the series of delays. And yesterday he just said, today is the day that there will be no longer delays. And that day was yesterday, Ayanda.
Gillian, let's leave it there. At least for now, I see a blockbuster coming in the form of this particular story. Again, proving that fact is indeed stranger than fiction. The stuff that movies are made of is what Gillian said a little bit earlier. Just to put on the record that the bomb scare, we have no information as to whether or not it was linked to Mr. Radovan Krejcir. As Gillian has mentioned, there are a number of other cases that were taking place parallel to the one that was heard yesterday. So no conclusive evidence as yet. So we put it on record that we do not know whether or not it was in fact linked. But let's leave it there, at least for now. Gillian continuing to keep a very close eye on the proceedings there.